This is not the man I met. He is egotistical, he disrespects me.
This entire marriage has been forced upon me.
When you don't have trust, when you don't have that foundation, the relationship is over before it starts.
I'm at my breaking point. He has a problem with spending.
You have champagne taste on a soda water budget.
Yes,
What's
honey,
going on?
come on, champagne taste. It's about the taste, not about the budget.
I can't trust him anymore. The man that I married would never have done that.
I'm not going to advise her to try to make this work because I think it's dangerous. I think it's gone beyond that. Here is today's case.
She's ready to end this relationship if her boyfriend doesn't change his bad habits. Excessive spending, binge eating, and lack of motivation to better himself resulted in her rejecting his marriage proposal. Can this couple get back on track? That's today's case on Divorce Court.
Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Faith Jenkins presiding. Your Honor, our virtual audience is filled with your superfans. Today's superfan of the day is Sasky from Santa Rosa, Georgia.
Hi, Sasky. Welcome to Divorce Court. We're so happy to have you with us today.
Your Honor, this is the case of Ivaniuc versus Ruizzo.
Thank you, Juan. Ms. Jaclyn Ivaniuc.
Yes, Your Honor.
You have brought Mr. Spencer Ruizzo
Yes, Your Honor.
to Divorce Court today. The two of you have been in a relationship for the last 4 years, but you've been having a lot of problems.
Yeah.
You're here in Divorce Court trying to see if you can work some of them out, if you should take your relationship to the next level, or if it's time for you to go your separate ways. Okay, I'll start with you, ma'am. Why don't you give me some background as to why you brought this up?
Honestly, Your Honor, I mean, as much as I love Spencer, I feel like I've reached a breaking point between his constant spending, his binge eating, his weight gain over COVID, never following through with anything, and always accusing me of cheating. Like, I don't feel like I can keep doing this unless something changes.
What do you have to say, sir?
Your Honor, I feel like Jay is really overreacting with a lot of this stuff. She has issues with some like hobbies that I have, and I feel like if it's the spending, if it's my money, I can spend it how I want, you know. And overeating and gaining weight, it was quarantine. A lot of people gained weight. I only gained 20 pounds, obviously not a lot, but she does have an issue with that. And the accusations of cheating, I mean, if she would just change up her ways a little bit, maybe we wouldn't even have to be here right now, you know.
Well, give me some examples, because you said that it has been 4 years, but the last year is really when things have taken a turn for the worst. Give me some examples of these hobbies you say have become problematic.
I mean, there's just been so many. Like, first it was drones, which I was fine with initially because, I mean, getting into a hobby during quarantine especially is understandable. But these are like $3,000 to $5,000 drones, and he has several of them. And they're just sitting around collecting dust, like literally every other hobby that he's gotten into.
What does he do with the drones?
I don't even know what he does with the drones. He lets them sit in the garage, just collecting dust. Like, I feel like he only wants them to impress people if they come over, like it's cool or something.
So when people come over, you start pulling out the drones?
I mean, I like to learn. I've been trying to learn how to fly them and everything. There was actually one day I had got a new drone. I was at the house, and I was sitting on the table, at the dining room table, setting it up. She got home and saw that I had bought a new drone, got extremely mad, and actually took it up and tossed it out of the front door of our house and broke my drone.
And broke
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, which
Really?
doesn't really make sense because that cost me more money, like, you know.
Why did you do that?
I was just so fed up with the spending. I mean, at this point, he'd had to have spent like well over $10,000 on drones, 15, 20 maybe. And I get home and there's another drone. He's just sitting there with a new drone, and he has so many already.
And you just take it and toss it out the door?
I mean, tensions got kind of high, and I probably shouldn't have done that. I mean, but I was so furious at the fact that he had another just new piece of trash that was gonna sit in our house.
It's not trash.
One person's trash is another man's treasure, is what you're saying, Mr. Ruizzo.
Yeah.
Give me another example of the hobbies you say he's spending money on.
Okay, so when it wasn't drones, it was like these model airplanes that
So he likes to fly things.
Yeah, but he doesn't fly them. It's just for like decoration. They're like toys. It's like when a kid has a room full of toys and doesn't play with any of them. Like, it's just unnecessary. And he even spent $200 on a club to go out with other guys that fly these planes, and he just bailed on them like he does
I didn't just
everything
bail
else.
on it. I didn't just bail
What
on it.
happened to the plane flying club?
Okay, yeah.
you joined?
I mean, I like to build them and everything, so eventually I want to learn how to fly them. So there was this club where these guys get together and they go fly them, $200 sign-up fee. I signed up for it the day that it was supposed to be. The meeting was happening. I did not feel well that day. Like, I couldn't go out to the house to do anything.
Okay.
And she took that as me giving up on my hobbies again, kind of getting an interest in something and then losing interest and putting it by the wayside. But I actually was ill and I couldn't go, but she put that, filed it under that, you know.
Okay. So drones, planes,
Yeah, and
What
3D
else?
printers.
a 3D printer?
A
One,
3D
not
printer.
multiple, one.
So he hasn't even used this thing yet, and it's still in our house. He bought it for, I don't know, probably like $600. And I was really upset about this one because it's just like one thing after another.
What's the point of buying a 3D printer?
I really was interested in them. I want to, of course, get to know how to use it. A lot more complicated than I initially thought, honestly. So I haven't really figured out how to use it completely yet, but I'm planning on it, and I'm not going to get rid of it. I mean,
What did you
already
plan
paid
on
for it.
printing? What was the purpose of you buying the printer?
Eventually, maybe I could make something for her. I mean, that honestly was the issue. Yeah, I wanted to
Okay.
start being able to make things for
But
her.
you haven't been able to figure out how to use it.
Not yet.
So you have some toys sitting around the house.
Hobbies.
Hobbies.
Yeah.
And this has caused some disputes between the two of you?
A lot, yes. She just really gets on me, and it's different hobbies. She thinks that I pick up too many things, spend too much money on them, and then I lose interest in them. But I'm still interested in all those things. I don't like to get rid of them. I'm building up things, so I'm an interesting person, you know?
You have a wide variety of interests, is
Correct,
what you're saying.
correct, Your Honor.
Yeah, including eating all the time. People gain weight, and like I get that. I'll notice him wake up out of bed, like just shoving a bag of chips in his face.
It is 20 pounds, but I wouldn't say that it's much different than from when we met.
It's not even all necessarily about the weight, like it's about his health. I don't want to be married until I'm 50 and then be a widow.
But what do you say has happened over the last year?
Okay, so yeah, people gain weight during quarantine. Like I get that. I gained a few pounds, but I lost it right away because I go to the gym every day. I try to get him to go with me. He's not interested whatsoever. And I mean,
He looks pretty physically fit to me, though.
I mean,
What's
I
the
guess
issue?
like to some people, yeah, but it's like when we got together, he was super athletic. He was always going out skateboarding or like working out with me or just doing activities. And it's like nothing. It's just been binge eating, binge spending.
20 pounds, it's not.
What do you mean by binge eating?
Like he's done this a few times where I'll notice him wake up out of bed or he'll climb out of bed at like 2, 3 in the morning and then come back and it smells like toothpaste or like mouthwash. And he's being really sneaky about it, which is like, we've been together for years. So like this one night I go out there and I just I get into the kitchen and I'm like, hey, what are you doing? And he's like shoving food in his face.
Yeah.
Like just shoving like a bag of chips in his face. And I'm like,
Are you hiding?
I'm not hiding. If I'm hungry in the middle of the night, I'm gonna go into my kitchen and get something to eat. Of
Okay.
course, after I eat anything before I go to sleep, I do brush my teeth. She started taking that as that I was trying to hide my midnight cravings, that I was trying to sneak back in without her noticing or anything. So yeah, that time, she didn't just come around the corner. She waited, and when she heard me open up a bag of chips, she jumped out like she was catching a robber or something. Like,
okay.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a little.
And all you were doing was open up a bag of chips?
Yeah,
So she's overreacting.
it's getting ridiculous.
Okay, I also have pictures of the weight difference, so
It's-
Well, he admits that he's gained 20 pounds.
It is 20 pounds, but I wouldn't say that it's much different than from when we met and who, like the person that you fell in love with, you know?
yeah, well.
So outside of this, because you said that it's been the hobbies, it's been what you consider to be binge eating and the weight gain during the pandemic, and you also say that it's also some career choices that have been made lately has been a big issue for you.
I mean, in general, it seems like he never follows through with anything at all, and that
When do you
includes
say
his
this
career.
started?
This last year or so. Like, he is a server. He's a server, and so he came home and he's like, hey, Like, I think it'd be really cool if I got into chef school. He seemed super interested in it. And so I totally encouraged him to go for it, you know, because it seemed like he had finally found like a passion for something. I mean, I wasn't sure he would stick with it, and he didn't.
Well,
after like a month in, but you know.
What happened with chef school?
after going and learning that it's really not as glamorous, you know, it's a lot of hard hours, it's a lot of work at hot kitchens and like stuff that I don't really want to stick with for my entire life. So I figured it was smarter for me to kind of put my efforts into something towards some things that I might stick
And
with.
so what did you do next after that?
I always, my own vehicle, I'm very good at like fixing stuff on my own car, like little things on my car, I can take care of it very easily. So I thought that maybe being a mechanic would be something that like would really keep my interest, yeah.
So you went from chef school to technical school to be a mechanic.
Well, I looked into technical school and
You looked into it.
yeah,
You didn't go.
And what happened?
I didn't go. I looked into it. It was just, it did seem like it was a little bit too much for me. Not a thing, like I'm good with my own stuff, but I don't know if I would have been able to really keep, so that is one thing I did.
Yeah, that is part of the job description. You have to be able to fix other people's cars. What's going on with your comic career?
I have occasionally made a few jokes about him.
She actually has a joke that she talks about me having a small penis.
How do you think that made him feel?
You'd think, being a comic, that he'd have a better sense of humor.
Everybody had a real good laugh on that.
It's a good joke.
If you'd like your case to be heard on divorce court, call us toll-free 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at divorcecourt.com. Miss the show? Watch full episodes on our streaming platforms and follow us on social media for exclusive content. So what is it that you're pursuing now?
I do stand-up comedy as well. That is another form of revenue that I do have. Not a ton, of course, but that is my main passion, you know. So.
Are you funny?
Huh? Yes, I would like to say so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm funnier.
So you've been getting some, you say you're funnier?
Right. I also do.
Is it a competition?
Yeah, she just started.
Is it a competition?
I mean, no, it's not.
Sounds like it is.
Yeah, it is a little bit.
I mean, it's good to have like some healthy competition every now and then. I think it drives you to be better.
What's going on with your comic career?
I think the real issue that he has with my comedy is that I have occasionally made a few jokes about him.
Occasionally, yeah.
And I mean, people end up really liking them. Like, it's relatable. Like, relationship jokes are relatable. And yeah, I mean, like, I'll admit I've been a little bit frustrated, so I've been using that as an outlet. It's like a form for me to be able to get out what I'm feeling.
How does he know that you're making these jokes about him?
I mean, I've pointed him out. Like
In the audience?
In the audience, like.
There's one show, the most recent show, she actually has a joke that she talks about me having a small penis on stage, and she chose to point me out in the crowd during that show. So everybody had a real good laugh on that, you know?
It's a good joke.
How do you think that made him feel?
With everything that's been going on lately, like, it seems like he's been a little bit more sensitive to it. But you'd think, being a comic, that he'd have a better sense of humor.
You know, I know a lot of comedians, they use things from their relationship as material.
Right.
But I think when you pointed him out to everyone in the audience, it was probably embarrassing for him.
I went and saw one of her shows recently. During the entire time she was up on stage, there was a guy at the bar at the back, like, overly laughing, seemed like too much, like he was too like he was laughing too hard at this stuff.
Okay.
And after her set, she got off stage, she didn't come over to me, didn't come say hi to me. She went to the bar. This random guy comes up to her and buys her a drink, and then they start laughing and talking and everything.
So she walked past you?
She didn't walk, I mean, it was the other side of the room. She didn't, like, see me to walk past
He's
me.
a fan. He's literally just a fan.
And so she didn't come over to you.
Right.
She went to but she knew you were there.
She didn't know I was there, yeah.
Wow, why'd you do that?
I mean, we live together. We see each other all of the time, and we're always at comedy shows together. All I did was go to the bar to get a drink.
What is it that you like about this relationship?
He's my best friend. You know, like, we have a lot of things in common, despite the multitude of things that we don't. But I feel like, for the most part, it works. I don't know, lately it just seems like we're totally different people, so.
Yeah.
You know,
What's the status of your relationship now? Because it has been 4 years.
I mean, we're together now.
Actually, if I may. So recently I did take her out to the beach for a long weekend, a really romantic weekend. At the end, brought her out to the beach, had candles out and everything, and I did propose to her.
Okay.
And she did actually reject me. She rejected my proposal, so.
Why did you say no when he proposed?
Your Honor, I've been married before, and it didn't go well for me. And that's not something that I take lightly, and that's not something that I want to rush into. It's not even all necessarily about the weight. Like, it's about his health. Like, how are you supposed to visualize being in a relationship, a long-standing relationship with someone that's gonna have, like, heart issues or high cholesterol or, you know, just be overall unhealthy? Like, I don't want to be married until I'm 50 and then be a widow.
My commitment to you should be more of a commitment than anything else in my life. You know that I have the commitment to you, so other stuff shouldn't matter.
From everything I've observed today, I think you care about Mr. Ruizzo, but you don't care very much about the person he is right now, today. You're still around because of what you call potential, because his present person, who he is today, is not enough for you to move forward in marriage. And somehow you think over time or with effort or with making these jokes about him is going to somehow mold him into the person you want him to be. There are some concerns about what's transpired in your life over the last year, and it sounds like you need a little bit of a reset. And I'm not here to come down on you because you've struggled this past year, but I don't want to see you continue to meander through this time period in your life.
Yeah.
You understand?
I can see what you're saying, Your Honor.
So there are these health and wellness retreats.
Okay.
And they've become really popular now since COVID, where people go and they spend a week. And it is a way for you to address a healthy lifestyle in terms of eating, but also mentally and emotionally where you are. And just take some time to address some of those things and do a little soul searching.
Okay.
I think that would be good for you. But if you're not ready to move forward with marriage, you do the right thing and you're honest about it. Because the last thing you want to do is get married because you believe that somebody has some potential. But what I don't want you to do is stay in a relationship and be cruel and be mean to Mr. Ruizzo, because I see some of that from you, and that's not what he needs right now. So you have a choice. You can stay in the relationship as he gets his mojo back, gets out of this rut that he's been in.
It's there.
The last
it's in
year.
There somewhere.
Because pre-COVID, I think he was a different person.
He was, Your Honor.
But being mean to people and talking to them about their weight and making jokes about them, that's not the way to do it. So you have a choice. You can either take a step back, take some time for yourself, and allow each of you as an individual to reflect on your relationship individually, or you can stay on the path with him and don't turn on him in his time of need.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. That's my advice to both of you. Good luck.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So Judge Faith did tell me to either take a step back or, I guess, reconsider where we're at in our relationship and, you know, just try and move forward with this. And, you know, I really do love Spencer and I want things to work. And so I'm willing to go through those steps if we need to do that.
The advice that I got from Judge Faith is to really better myself and make sure that I'm doing things in a forward direction, not backwards, because that doesn't help either of us.
I'm really trying to be more encouraging, you know, like with any relationship, like you get frustrated, you know, having to say the same things over and over again, but I guess I can just keep trying to lead by example and just see how it goes.